Welcome to the first Friday e-call with K-State Research and Extension. We are so happy to have you join. As always, the call is being recorded and you will get a link to the website after probably next week. I think our webmaster is gone today, and a copy of the presentation deck. At the end of the survey, at the end of the call, please take about 35 seconds to answer three short questions or even two. Number one, did you learn something today that you can use immediately? Number two, how many people will you forward the information to? And number three, and this is the open-ended one, what did you learn today that was most helpful to you? So thank you everyone for joining us. And with that, I'm going to introduce Chris Brazil, K-State Pollution Prevention Specialist. And Chris is going to explain how sustainable practices benefit profit. Thanks, Chris, for joining us.
Thanks everyone and good morning. Welcome to the first Friday e-call. I love the program. I love working with engineering extension and the extension office at K-State. So I'm very happy to be sharing a little bit about our resources today and who we are. So, our goal is to reach the most amount of Kansans we can. So let me put my slides up. So I just want to make sure. Okay, hopefully my screen is sharing okay. Awesome. Okay, so I wanted to start by explaining who we are. Not everyone knows about engineering extension, so we're actually part of the College of Engineering. We are the Pollution Prevention Institute. We were founded in 1989. We are a 100% grant funded institute. So currently our funding sources are the Kansas Department of Health and Environment and also the Environmental Protection Agency. We are a non-regulatory program. We do help people with compliance, but we definitely don't enforce anything. We are 100% confidential with all the work that we do. And we also always like to make sure that people know that. So our mission is to promote sustainability, and we do that through environmental education and also services to honestly anyone in the state of Kansas. So we work with, individuals, with communities, with institutions, with industry, whoever really needs our help. So under our institute, we house the Small Business Environmental Assistance Program. So we provide free and confidential environmental compliance assistance on site and off site. So if needed, we can stop by your facility, or you can just give us a call and we can help you with any media. Each state has its own SBEEP. We are operating the Kansas one. So we do more than just air permits. So whatever type of media that you have to work with, we can definitely help you. We focus on small businesses, so mostly under 100 employees, but we help anyone. Everyone that needs our help, like I said, you can always reach out to us. So the other part of our institute is our pollution prevention program. And in this program, we provide pollution prevention technical assistance to any size industry in the state of Kansas, so we don't have that 100 employee limitation. So we have an internship program. So every summer since 2006, we've paired Kansas students with Kansas companies to work on sustainability projects. We do the whole thing. We train, we mentor, and we place them with companies. They spend 10 weeks on site working on sustainability projects that help their companies advance in terms of, their sustainability goals and also their profits. That's definitely part of the combo that we love working with. And we also do workshops, seminars, educational material, anything that we can do to spread pollution prevention awareness. So if you're interested, for example, in having us present on any pollution prevention related topic, we always have funding for that. So reach out to us and we can help you. I know that this is not only for small businesses, but maybe this is a big part of our audience. Maybe you're thinking about starting a business, or maybe you work for a business. But the truth is that sustainability matters to basically everyone. So it can help you lower your costs. So, for example, utility bills. It can help you with any sort of compliance and liability reduction. Those can lead to fines and some really bad headaches sometimes. So being sustainable in a lot of cases helps with that. It can help with brand reputation. So there has been a really big consumer push for sustainable products and services right now. When it comes to the workforce, some workers may prefer working with businesses that do prioritize environmental and social responsibility, and also can help you stay ahead of the curve and well positioned long term. So it really depends on the type of businesses of business that you work with. But sustainability is more than just the point of helping the planet. So one of the things that whenever we work with businesses, we ask is, what sustainability means for your business or for your institution and so on. So first thing that we like to, brainstorm is to figure out what exactly are the environmental impacts that your business have. So it could be energy use, waste, emissions, water consumption, etc. So for you to operate anything, basically even a household, you need a lot of inputs. So we try to look at all of these inputs that you need, so you can have, so in a household example, that you need to have a functioning household. And we also think about what are all the outputs. So do you have chemicals that result in your emissions? Do you have generators that need to get tested every so often and also generates your emissions? What type of waste do you produce? Do you have any recyclables? Do you have wastewater, and so on? So we like to analyze what's going in and what's going out. We also think about what type of sustainability trends are affecting my industry. So is there a push right now for organic, or is there a push or from the competition? Are they doing anything related to sustainability that is becoming a must for customers, and so on? And also, how my sustainability efforts will align with the business values and long-term success. So for example, if you're a company that needs water to produce your product, you might be interested in making sure that you have water available to your facility long term. So maybe water conservation might be one of your key goals. Okay. So whenever we work with sustainability initiatives, we use this waste management hierarchy. So the top has the name of our institute. So I think it's always very important for us to clarify what that means. So we work primarily with pollution prevention, or we also use the acronym P2 for it. So I'm just going to start calling it P2 for now. But P2, or source reduction as well, is basically the idea of reducing or eliminating waste right at the source. So it's before you treat it, dispose of it, or recycle it. We sometimes end up working with some different types of projects, but in a lot of cases, there is a way to try to reduce that source of waste right at the source. So we sometimes get approached by companies and they mention, oh, we have a lot of wood waste and we would like to figure out a way to recycle it. And our mentality is always slightly different, is, why is this being generated? Isn't there a way for us to actually eliminate it instead of pushing that towards recycling, which we don't know if it's actually going to happen? So our focus is reducing right at the source, and we brainstorm if we can change the material that we're using, if we can change the process or maybe the technology, maybe we need, a new machinery or something different so we can eliminate that. And normally, there's a lot of money involved in waste. Waste is definitely opposite of efficiency. And there's a lot of money hiding in those big buckets. So when we think about, the cost to operate a business, we look at, energy bills, water, materials, chemicals, and even compliance and risk. So we work with pollution prevention practices to help you save money in those hidden areas. So in our program, whenever we work with, any institution, we collect and help calculate different metrics. So we really prioritize what we call the triple bottom line. So projects that we work will focus on helping not only the planet, but also people and profit. And we absolutely know how important profit is for industries and businesses. We need the economy to function well so we can have people employed, and everything is interconnected. So when we do our projects, we collect data. So we try to help the company or the institution calculate any savings related to the environment. So these are some of our numbers so far. So we save hazardous materials, air emissions, gallons of water. That also gets converted into greenhouse gas emissions. So that's another metric that we normally report. And of course, dollars saved. So these are from implemented results from projects that we worked with alongside companies. So I think we're actually over $24 million saved right now. So we have a lot of information on our website about the work that we do, and I will go over some of those resources. So our website is sbeep.org, and we have a lot of information in there. I also wanted to mention some of other programs that kind of fall under a similar umbrella of sustainability. We have the Kansas Energy Program and the Kansas Radon Program and the KSU Technical Assistance to Brownfields. So of course they provide different resources, but they are partners of our program as well. And they have amazing resources. But on our website, you can find a lot of different information. So resources on air quality, water quality, storage tanks, waste management, pollution prevention, on our internship program, events, and everything that has been going on in our institute and sometimes with our partners. We also have a monthly newsletter. So if you want to register, it's just one email per month, I promise. This is a QR code to register if you're interested. And we just, share what's going on with our program, if there are any conferences related to sustainability or any new initiatives from our partners or from our program. So there's a lot of good resources that we share through that newsletter. So we also have a lot related to our intern program. So like I said, we pair Kansas students with Kansas companies to work on sustainability projects. And every intern that goes through our program produces what we call a case summary. And it's a 2-page document that summarizes all the projects that they worked with during their summer internships. And that is a great resource for companies to also see what similar companies are doing when it comes to sustainability and have an idea of the potential benefits of implementing some of these projects. So they report, for example, here we have 2 students that worked with us in the past few years, and different types of projects. So we have, solar panels, recycling solvent, water, replacing equipment. So we provide an annual estimated environmental impact. So how much, electricity or water or chemicals that project will reduce, and how much are we expecting in terms of cost savings as well. So again, it's a good resource. Sometimes we have the list of the actual companies that that were part of some of these projects, so you can check to see, you know, what is your competition doing? What are they interested in implementing? And, you know, again, brainstorming some ideas of potential sustainability projects for your institution as well. Another resource that we have is a 1 credit hour class called Industrial Environmental Sustainability. So CE 690, the next session will be in January. We also accept people registering for professional development. There's a $300 cost to attend the class, and it's a 3-day course, gonna be from January 13th through the 15th. Right at the K-State Innovation Center. So if you're interested, email us and we can register you to join. The course is basically covering the training that we do for interns when they go work on their facilities. So we start from scratch. What is sustainability? What is pollution prevention? What are some of the metrics that we use and how do we calculate them? How do we convert, for example, kilowatt hours saved into, you know, carbon reduction? So we teach how to use those calculators and also how to use a lot of the equipment that we have available in our program and that are industry standard equipment. So it's pretty hands-on. You go through all the different medias. We talk about air conservation, water, air toxics reduction, water conservation, energy conservation, and so on. So it's a pretty all-in-one course. And we always love having, you know, industry representatives joining as well, not just students. So when it comes to the Small Business Environmental Assistance Program, again, we have a lot of different types of resources, calculators, so potential to emit, helping you figure out if you need or not an air permit. If you do need it, what type of air permit do you need? So we do have a lot of things already on our website. Same goes for hazardous waste resources. We have a Kansas Hazardous Waste Handler training course that's 100% online. We have the compliance calendars that we distribute to anyone that wants one. So if you work with hazardous waste and you need some help with it, like I said, we have a lot of resources. Water as well. So if you need a stormwater permit, what type of permit do you need, you know, if you have septic tanks and so on. So again, lots of resources. Some may apply to you, some may not. Sometimes people don't know if they need anything. So again, give us a call. I don't work directly with this program. I'm part of the P2 side of things, but we have a lot of really, really amazing people working with that compliance side of our institute. Okay, and I want to talk a little bit about what are some of those P2 practices. So give you some examples so you can maybe, you know, some things might resonate with you, some things might be something that you thought about before, but you're not quite sure if it would be beneficial for you to implement or not. So I'm going to give you some ideas of P2 projects, and then if you want to go deeper into any of those, you can, like I said, talk to us. So some P2 ideas related, for example, to energy efficiency. We still work with so many companies on replacing their lighting. So some companies still use different types of lightings that is not LEDs. So we work with companies figuring out, okay, how much will it cost to replace your lighting with LEDs? How long do you expect to get your money back? Because again, we're talking about profit too. But there's also an investment in some of these projects. So you need to buy new materials and you need to know when are you going to see that benefit, that net benefit coming through. So lighting sensors, if you have an area that you feel like lights are often on, but the room is unoccupied. So is it worth it to put in a lighting sensor? Thermostats, energy audits, solar panels, that's a big one. A lot of companies and even households right now have been interested in maybe implementing solar panels. But again, there's a lot of variables involved. Is it really worth it for me to implement solar panels? So the Kansas Energy Program does a great job with that as well. But we also do help with solar panels estimations, energy efficient appliances. So maybe, you know, you have that really old oven or machine or HVAC system. Is it really, you know, yes, it's going to cost you some money to get a new one, but maybe that cost will, you know, will pay off fast. So our job is to provide you with all the information so you can make the decision that you want. So sometimes, you know, we do that analysis and we find out, well, actually, you know, it's never going to pay off, or it's going to take you 20 years to pay off. So it's going to be your choice if you want to move forward or not. So again, our job is to provide you with the numbers so you can make that really good informed decision. So for example, savings from switching to LEDs, we have a company that we worked with in Southwest Kansas called Burla Carbon. So they are implementing their LED lighting, an LED lighting project. So for them, for example, they're talking about saving about $13,000 per year. So that was something that the intern calculated when he was working on site. So he estimated how much they were paying when it comes to electricity, how much was the current lighting utilizing, and how much would be consumed by the new set of LED lights. So all of this was calculated, and also the benefit of, you know, making that replacement. So those 290 metric tons of CO2 equivalent, we like to compare that to something more tangible. So that's basically around 13,000 trees capturing carbon for over a year. So those are the metrics that we calculate when we're doing a project. So there's always that, you know, that we call the triple bottom line. So profit, which is pretty straightforward. You know, we have for the lighting, for example, cost savings, we have that payback period. In that example, I believe we had less than 2 years for a payback period. We have a longer lifespan. LEDs, for example, they last much longer than regular incandescent bulbs. When it comes to the planet, of course, we have less emissions from electricity, and we also have less waste from bulbs. So instead of having to buy 5 bulbs in 10 years, you buy 1. So there's much less waste being generated. And we also like to, you know, tell companies whenever we work on a project that there's the people side too. So some of those bulbs may contain mercury, which is a hazardous material. In a lot of cases, we can improve lighting. Those, you know, older bulbs, they might not be producing as much brightness as newer ones. So better lighting in some cases means a safer workspace. And also less maintenance hassle. So if you have to go up to the ceiling to replace light bulbs every year versus once every 10 years, it's just less risk for whoever is making that swap. So we always like to communicate all those different types of benefits from projects that we work with. Energy efficiency, this is a little more industry focused, but you know, a lot of different size industries deal with motors. So we've been working with industry, seeing if we can use variable frequency drive motors, which are more efficient and adjust their energy consumption depending on the load. Compressed air systems, this is a big energy hog for so many institutions. They are normally very inefficient, and we can help you look for leaks. And maybe even see if we can make the whole system more efficient. Boilers, ovens, so sometimes it could be the sizing of the equipment, if it needs insulation, if we have any sort of change in technology that we could do, like converting from gas to electric and so on. Recovering heat produced from one area into it to be used in another one. We had a case study with a company that replaced a really inefficient gas boiler with an electric heater. And when we did all the calculations, they made that swap and they're saving about 150,000 per year. And we also we took into consideration the new electric heaters as well. They offset the benefits, but still considering everything, it was such a great swap for the environment and, economically for the company too. Air leaks are a big thing, and they cost a lot of money. A lot of businesses have compressed air systems, so we can do audits and help you identify those leaks. We quantify how much they're costing to your business as well, and everything goes into a report. So here, for example, at the same company, solar panels, they are also working on implementing a solar panel system. We help them identify what type of solar panel would work best. We worked with, a supplier that was chose by the company, trying to figure out what will work best. They sometimes, some companies want to replace their full energy input with solar panels. Sometimes they decide to just do a partial swap. It really depends, and that's when our program can come in and help you figure out what might be the best option for you. We also have in the same project, working with the same company, a compressed air audit. So just with leaks, they could save about 17,000 per year just by fixing those leaks. So we have the equipment, we find the leaks, we tag them, and we quantify everything. So switching gears, we know Kansas really care about water conservation. We are always, thinking about the Ogallala Aquifer. So we sometimes work with companies that are interested in water conservation projects. So repairing leaking faucets, inefficient toilets, sometimes steam systems, leaks in pipes. So we go and help you find those leaks and calculate how much you're wasting and how much can you save. Reducing usage, so shutting off processes when not in use. Can we install low flow or automatic options? Can we reuse water? So maybe, we have some rainwater that can be used as a pre-rinse in another cycle, or maybe used for irrigation. So we try to see, and this is something that we can help you brainstorm. So if you tell me that, oh, we use a lot of water and we're trying to figure out how can we reduce the amount of water that we consume, but we don't really quite know how, and we can always go in, we can make a visit to your place and we can look around and see, well, maybe this type of project could be beneficial, and we can calculate and provide you with all that information. So some more P2 ideas, looking into reducing or replacing hazardous materials. We always try to, eliminate any sort of chemical when feasible. Sometimes it's not, but we can try to look for a safer alternative, be more efficient when using chemicals. When it comes to waste reduction, see if we can replace anything disposable with durable. Can we take the route of composting? That's not really P2, but sometimes we can work with something that is, in process within your facility, maybe repurposing something. You can always do some signage, helping, for example, please turn off lights when you leave. This is basically zero cost, but sometimes it can help people conserve energy and so on. Sometimes you need to have that, that champion for green initiatives. So helping, it can help you achieve your sustainability goals if you assign some specific responsibilities. But of course, the best way is always to make sure that everyone knows about it and is working towards a more sustainable environment. Okay, so our mentality is that when we have cleaner operations, we have healthier communities. So, when we're using safer chemicals, we're reducing waste, we're enhancing energy efficiency, we're helping the community, and that of course includes all of the state of Kansas. So for example, when we reduce solvents being used by by a company, you reduce the amount of toxins that the worker that is directly working with that chemical might be inhaling. It reduces the air toxins that could drift into all the nearby communities, and that will improve the air quality inside and outside that facility. So for us, all the work that we do, we want it to be a win-win-win. Okay. And then, we went through a few different ideas of, we do a lot more than what I just covered. It totally depends on what you're talking about. What is your institution? What processes do you have? What are your goals? What resources you have available? And people ask me, okay, but should I get the aerators? I don't even know how much I'm paying per kilowatt hour. How am I going to make those calculations? How do I know if I'm using hazardous chemicals? How do I know what is my payback period if I want to do all those things? And that's basically when we come in. So all of these questions is what we're here to answer. So sometimes it involves a little bit more data collection, and it's not a very straightforward answer, but we definitely come in and we can help you figure that out, brainstorm some other solutions for you. So if you're interested in becoming more sustainable, please reach out to us. So some of our key takeaways is, it doesn't really matter sustainability. Some people think that this is just for big companies, but it really compounds. So some people think that it's just my household. Why would I really care about, fixing my leaky faucet? It adds up, So we always tell people that there are sometimes projects that might not be cost effective, but we are very creative and we can always come up with something that, might fit what you're looking for. Pollution prevention is definitely the best approach. Right now, we have a really small percentage of things getting actually recycled. So whenever we work on our projects, we try to focus on reducing at the source, and then we move down that hierarchy. We definitely don't want anything going to landfill. And even if it's not something feasible right now, you're not required to implement anything that we suggest you to. And we always also like to make that very clear. So sometimes, we've been working with companies that really wanted to get rid of a chemical. And at the time that we did that first analysis, it wasn't feasible. But after a few years, maybe there's a new technology, and we keep track of the projects that we work with. So if there's something new, we can call you back and be like, hey, there's this new piece of technology that we think may work with you. Do you still have that process? Are you still trying to get rid of that chemical? Can we help you? So this is what we're here to do. We can definitely help in terms of compliance. We can help with pollution prevention. So feel free to reach out. I want to thank everyone. This is part of our team, but we have a lot of resources. We had our phone number running through the slides, so this is our hotline. You can give us a call. You can email us. I have my personal email on this slide as well if you want to contact me directly with any questions. Yeah, so I want to thank everyone. I know that Nancy already has a little feedback thing after the end of the call. This is mostly for our grant, so we have a little 1-minute feedback that we collect to report for our grant reporting purposes. But yeah, I want to know if anyone has any questions.
So I usually allow people to be quiet at this point, but I'm not going to this time. I really think there's so much possibility here, and we have a lot of smart people on this call. I'd like to challenge you a little bit to think about how you're going to use this information. one thought I had, and Chris, it's as much a question as it is a comment, that 3-day class for $300, we have extension agents on here. Could an ag and natural resources agent or would they be able to take that class and help a farmer know how to improve his profitability through saving water and waste?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think about farming specifically because I know there's a lot of farming systems that and strategies, and that might be a little more complicated than
That,
the
okay.
industrial side of things because I think the water usage has also a lot to do with, the type of crop and a lot of other variables. But I'm trying to think in terms of, energy efficiency, processing grains, and that goes again a little more towards the industrial side of things because that's kind of where we get most of our projects done. We haven't really done a lot of ag projects, but we also know again grain processing is a big thing. There are different types of grain processing techniques. There's a lot of dust being produced when you're processing grains. So you need air filters at the facility. So are those filters efficient? Maybe they're not. Maybe they could be a little bit better. So there are different routes and yeah, and sometimes what type of equipment they're using, if they're using, for example, propane or if they have any sort of electric equipment. So sometimes we can investigate to see, and I'm going to use the example of forklifts because we've been doing those calculations. So they have a propane forklift, but they are trying to figure out if replacing it with an electric one would be beneficial. So sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And that's the fun thing about this. There's not really a unique answer to every project. We definitely need to investigate.
Great. What about the rest of you? What questions did you have as you were listening? Because about, you're here as a link to your community. What were your thoughts about who might need this? And let's ask Chris right now whether they can help your customers. Chris, and here I am interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if you saw, but Tim with Southwest Sustainability Solutions is on. Tim, tell me your perspective. Did this?
Oh, I see the comment now.
Yeah. Biodegradable nitrile gloves.
Hi, I'm Tim with Southwest Sustainability Solutions. We manufacture biodegradable natural gloves. Tasty purchases their gloves. That's cool. Customer perspective. Yeah, I don't know if Tim is still on. I think I see Tim.
Yeah. Maybe he's not close.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, whenever we're talking about, manufacturing, there are so many different things that we could look at. And if their business, for example, wants to host us at the facility so we can help identify some potential opportunities, we can go in there. Every company is different. Every company will have different possibilities when it comes to projects. But we can always do that service. We do this. This is a free consultation that we do. So we can go on site and see if there's anything that we could help you with. We provide you with a free and confidential technical report. And then if you want, for example, if your company is large enough and you want to pursue in depth some of the projects that we suggested, depending. So sometimes we have funding available to actually work on these projects ourselves. Sometimes we can suggest you hosting an intern over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends, and that's why we always like to have a one-on-one call and actually identify some of the potential things that we can work on.
So if a local nonprofit, a senior center, wants to know whether or not they should put on a, solar panel, that would be a question for you. Or if a
Yeah.
family, a local family says, I'm interested, does that, what's the payoff for me?
Yeah, so on the family side, I think the Kansas Energy Program might be more helpful. But if you have a community, if you have, any institution that wants to, again, implement solar panels and they are not quite sure if that will benefit or not, and how long will it take to get a payback, or even if there are any sort of incentives still left that they could take advantage of. So we work again, and if we cannot do the actual calculations for you, we can definitely point you to some good resources for everything. We're actually currently working on a resource related to solar panels, to help people understand what's the process like when you're thinking about having solar panels, because the truth is not every household, if we're talking about household at the household level, will benefit from having solar panels. It depends on the positioning of your house, if there's shade, how much do you consume, when it comes to electricity, where you're located at. So there's so many variables, and those are things again that we want to help with. It's collecting all those variables and trying to see if it's worth it or not.
Right. Because otherwise we're just adding to waste again. Just,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And I mean, for us, it just, it, we know the importance of, local industry, for example, because that's basically most of our clients are industry right now. And we know that they care a lot about profit, but they also want to help the environment. So they want to do both. And that's where we come in. We try to find something that fits their goals, both, economically and sustainably.
right. Anybody else? Chris, this was wonderful. Basically, the bottom line is if you wonder whether your client or customer would benefit, why now you know who can tell you
Yeah,
and get you to the
exactly.
right source.
Yeah, for example, if you know someone that wants to start a business or someone that has a small business, and we know that profit margins can be tight, so they want to find out if there's a way of saving some money, and also again conserving any source of any resource, becoming more efficient. That's our main thing. It's increasing efficiency.
Right.
So yeah,
Do
definitely.
you do you work with grocery stores on their coolers? Do
We did do a project some time ago with grocery stores. I think it was with Kroger grocery stores. But yeah, there's so many opportunities, and like I said too, we are not we're non-regulatory. We don't enforce. So
right.
it's people wanting to work with us, and sometimes that's one of the challenges. People knowing about our resources and what can we do for them. So under the P2 side of things, we do a lot of free services. The interns, we have some routes that involve a shorter site visit from an intern over the summer. We have a route that you place an intern full time at your facility. That's, normally when a company has, multiple projects, about like 3 to 4 projects for someone to work on over those 10 weeks. And for that situation, we have some cost share opportunities, but normally the company pays the intern salary. But we do all the training, so they work on site, but we are constantly communicating with them. So it's like having PPI's assistance on site full time for 10 weeks.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that was really interesting. Thank you for joining us. And if you don't mind stopping the share, if anybody else has anything to share, please unmute and tell us what you'd like to share with the rest of us. While you're thinking, I'll tell you about K-State's programs. We have the Remote Work Wednesday. Whoops, somehow or another, my share didn't go correctly. The Remote Work Wednesday is this following Wednesday, and its topic this time is a skills practice, communication in remote work environment, and it's next Wednesday at noon online. And you can sign up at the email in the chat. We also have a in-person grant writing in St. John on Tuesday. I assume that he'll still take, if you're close and that's interesting to you, why you can find out more at KSRE events. Or we have an online grant writing class November 17th and 19th. And I've put that in there at Grant Writing Basics. If you have a statewide event that you would like to promote, we're happy to help you promote it. Just send us an email at KSRE Community Vitality CV at ksu.edu. Did anybody else think of anything that they want to share? Our next topic is Emerging Economic Data Around Trails in Kansas by Mike Scanlon with the Osawatomie Trail System. And our thought for the day today, as I leave you for this Friday, is wisdom begins in wonder. A guy named Socrates said that. Thanks so much for joining us, and we appreciate your partnership.